Real life science.
Roy, take it away.
Yeah, I'll keep this quick. So the UAP report, the long-awaited report on UFOs, or as they're calling them now, UAPs, came out today from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. I highly recommend you download the report and read it for yourself, as it's not lengthy, like 7 pages plus a couple appendices, and it's written in fairly clear language. We have a link for it in the show notes. Here's some of the highlights. One, the limited amount of high-quality reporting on unidentified aerial phenomena hampers our ability to draw firm conclusions about the nature or intent of UAP. So what does that mean? As a result, the task force concentrated on reports that occurred between 2004 and 2021, the majority of which are a result of this new tailored process to better capture them. So they have a new tailored process for the last 17 years. Most of them, it says most of the UAP reported probably do represent physical objects, given that a majority of the UAPs were registered across multiple sensors to include radar, infrared, electro-optical, weapon seekers, and visual observations. And in a limited number of the incidents, they reportedly appeared to exhibit unusual flight characteristics. They do say this could be the result of sensor errors, spoofing, or observer misperception, but there's probably multiple types of them as well, because of the different, the range of appearances and the behaviors. Now, here's I think one of the key points. They say these things clearly pose a safety of flight issue and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security. Safety concerns primarily center on aviators contending with an increasingly cluttered air domain, and they also represent a national security challenge if they are foreign adversary collection platforms, or provide evidence of a potential adversary has a breakthrough or disruptive technology. I think that the safety angle is what's going to keep this topic alive more than anything else.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you can see the stuff on screen. We've seen this is not a situation anymore where it's like some guy in Iowa that's like, Bigfoot and the aliens, they took me. Like, this is like the Navy. This is the Air Force. This is air traffic control. This is flying over massive cities where, thousands of people are seeing stuff and going like,
here's where it's also being treated seriously by the military. They said most reports described objects that interrupted pre-planned training or other military activity. You don't interrupt military training costing tens of thousands of dollars per minute for a Mirage, right? Some of this gets a bit sketchy. Like they say the sensors mounted on U.S. military platforms are typically designed to fulfill specific missions. As a result, those sensors are not generally suited for identifying UAPs. I'm sorry, I have a problem with this one. The sensors on fighter aircraft are designed to detect and track threats, right? So what are we saying here? That we don't have a good enough technology to detect military threats, or if you want to sneak up on or confuse a carrier task force, use a fleet of weather balloons, or are they saying that? I think maybe closer to the truth is they're saying we don't have enough technology to detect what these things might actually be.
That's exactly what they're saying. They're saying in military speak, which is it's unclear at this time, which means I don't have a fucking clue how that happened. Yeah.
So they say that some appeared to remain stationary in the winds aloft, move against the wind, maneuver abruptly, or move at considerable speed without discernible means of propulsions. And here's something new. In a small number of cases, military aircraft systems processed radio frequency energy associated with the UAP sightings. That's new. I hadn't heard this bit about the RF energy before in any of the other pre-reports we saw about this. They analyzed 144 reports came from U.S. government sources. They only explained one that was a deflated balloon. The rest are all unexplained, and they've divided them into 5 potential categories. The first one is airborne clutter. The second is natural atmospheric phenomenon. The third is government or industry developmental programs. The fourth is foreign adversary stuff. And then they have this catch-all other bin. So you might ask, what's in the other category? And here's what's in the other category. They say, although most of the UAP described in our data set probably remain identified due to limited data or challenges of collection, which we may require additional scientific knowledge to successfully collect, analyze, and characterize, we would group such objects in this category pending scientific advances that allowed us to better understand them. So again, is this another way for the Office of the Director of National Intelligence to say that these UAPs may represent technologies that we do not currently have the scientific capability to understand? Thought that was interesting. They intend to focus, additional analysis on this, especially the number of cases where they display unusual flight characteristics or signature management. So there's that RF signature management again. This is as close as they ever get to saying aliens, this other category. And then finally, buried in the appendix, I found this little gem. In Appendix B, describing the sources of information for this report was the following. A detailed analysis of data from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which was derived from investigations of intrusions of UAP data over restricted U.S. airspace. X-Files confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting stuff. I don't know, man. I think that there's tons of possibilities from other militaries or other groups that have some advanced tech that we don't get, to all kinds of other things that it could be.
Well, they've clearly ruled out it being anything we own. That was another key finding.
Yeah, I mean,
so
yeah,
kind of scary either way.
Here's the thing that kind of freaks me out about it. This is the kind of shit that they've been holding on to for forever. Why are they telling us about it now? Like, what's the, like, normally my experience with the military has been that the shit that they will acknowledge is less than 10% of the shit that they know. So if this is what you're now publicly acknowledging, what do you know?
They were sitting on this for 11 years, right? And this report was created because of a provision that was slipped into the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021, last year, basically, which basically compelled the Director of National Intelligence to create a report. Otherwise, I don't think we would have seen one.
Interesting stuff. Okay, the rest of the real-life science stuff, which legitimately, I'm not just saying this, we had a really good lineup of stuff, but it's going to have to wait till next week because we have no more time.